Welcome back to the Big Fella Podcast. We got a familiar face here back with us. I anticipate this podcast to have millions and millions of views. So if it doesn't, I'm going to be tremendously disappointed in all of you. But no, right? 24 hours minimum. Yeah, that's the only ceiling we get. But no, it feels good to have you back, Mike. If those of you who don't know, this is Mike Pridgeon. I'll let him introduce himself. But back in the day, about a year and a half ago, we had a 10-episode podcast that we ran with, and that was super popular. I still have people messaging me about it today, about how they like those episodes. So, Mike, welcome back, man.
Hello. Yeah, after my, I guess, hiatus, I suppose, if that makes if we're back, then I suppose that just makes it a hiatus. In case anybody's hearing from me for the first time, I lost 110 pounds, but I'm most proud of keeping that weight off. We both lost 110 pounds. That's one of the reasons that we bonded so early. And you were, I think, the first person in the fitness space that had found me and reached out to me when I showed up. So that's another distinction that we have here. And you and I also both share our mindset for fitness and health. We don't really believe in restriction or hating yourself. In fact, if you watch a Mike Needs a Plan video all the way through, you will hear the same 4 words: be kind to yourself. That is very important to me because I believe that all things can be done kindly to yourself and can be done better if they're done kindly. So if you're here for a grind culture type of thing, if you want to hear a David Goggins type beat, as the kids would say, I don't have it. I'm very sorry. Get hard, as David Goggins would say.
Get hard. That's what he texted to me this morning when we were talking about getting ready for this. So for those of you that don't know, we stay at this level of professionalism the whole way through, on and off camera. So
speaking of professionalism, I do have a list. It's a November lock-in challenge.
Okay, let's hear it.
Would like to follow along. So the first item on this list is porn daily. We've got
starting strong
daily.
All right.
No exercising.
Check.
Not allowed 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night. I think it's a little excessive, but we do make up for it with 12 plus hours of screen time.
I was about to say, got to get the scrolling in.
Don't go to work or skip your classes. If you're in school, you must stay below a 2.0 GPA, and all meals must be microwavable or door-dashed.
I like that.
This is the November lock-in. So yeah,
I think we should add one other one where you find one person to blame for your circumstances every day.
I like it. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think that's we're starting it strong in 3 days, folks. Yeah. That's what we're doing. That's how we get better nowadays.
That's what you get
for
taking a list step by step. You should be taking little things from everybody. You shouldn't take one person's thing all the way down the line because it's not going to work for you. There may be one thing on somebody's plan that works. You take that and use it for yourself.
I think that's I think that's where you and I have really kind of found our own little culture within the fitness industry because we don't really make you and I don't sell like one-off programs to people.
No.
Like we don't market like a 12-week fat loss challenge program thing where it's like we don't talk to you. Like the only way to work with us is to work with us. And I think we both do that from a moral, ethical standpoint, I guess. Not to like put us on a high horse or anything, but it's just like we know what's going to work and we know what's not going to work. And there's no point in trying to sell something to people to spend their hard-earned money on if we know that the accountability is kind of really everything. And I think the big thing that I've noticed, I've been hearing this for years with my content, but like I think specifically between you and me, I hear in my DMs, like people really value our perspective on like breaking things down into smaller, more bite-sized pieces. So like what you were saying, if you try to follow some other person's program, an influencer, a trainer at your local fucking gym or whatever, some of the aspects of that aren't necessarily going to cater to your lifestyle super well. So I kind of belong in the camp of start with one thing, don't start with a full plan, start with one part of a plan, and have the self-awareness to know whether or not you're going to stick to it. If you historically have a bad time and stay very inconsistent going to the gym, you have a hard time going to the gym, maybe you don't make your first step of your fitness plan going to the gym at 4 a.m. Like, just have a little self-awareness there first. And I think that's what a lot of people are lacking right now.
Yeah, you don't need to change much of anything. I always tell people, what do you want to work on this week? What is the one thing you want to change? Well, I want to change this. And, no, get rid of the word and. What are we working on this week?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And figure out ways to get it to work with your schedule. If you're a person who likes to work out in the morning, do that. If you're a person who likes to work out at night, find a way to do that. Don't try to change that. Just go along with what works naturally, and then we can start adding stuff on top of it.
The best hack for consistency is enjoyability. I think we all have heard both of us say that in one.
Dude, people are trying to grind themselves down, like doing this awful stuff, and they're like, how do I get through this? What do you mean get through this? Life? Because if you're treating this thing like a course of treatment, you're not going to do it that long. You are training for the end is what you're doing. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. So if you think to yourself, this is a grind, I hate this, get rid of it. What is the benefit you're looking for from the thing you're doing? Find a way to mimic that benefit in a different way.
It connects into other parts of life too. I was talking to a younger guy at my gym yesterday, and he's about to graduate high school. He's wise beyond his years, super hardworking. Goes to the gym consistently, plays sports, like just a really solid dude. He and his brother, I've known at the gym for a while. And he was talking to me about like not being sure what he wanted to do with his life, not being sure what he wanted to do when he graduated. And I was like, you can do whatever you want to do. The big thing I want you to realize is that you are so far ahead of the game that you're not even going to fully understand it until you're older, because he has the skills of self-discipline. He knows how to show up to the gym when he doesn't feel like it. He knows how to work hard at something that compounds over time. And those are irreplaceable skills to have at a young age. And not everybody gets that at a young age. I understand that, but like when you can teach yourself how to build up something from zero, you can show yourself you've hacked the system to do it financially, health-wise, business-wise, relationship-wise. It's so much. Everyone likes to treat it from one extreme to the other, right? And I think the skill that we've lost with this, with social media and everything else, is the instant gratification, which obviously is something that we've talked about a lot. We all know it with social media and DoorDash and AI. It's like we can spawn things just at our front doorstep, whatever we want. We can just make it happen or appear as often as we'd like. The skill of building something from the ground up, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, has become a lost art, because the average person, I'm sure, I would love to hear your perspective on this, because I see this all the time in my DMs and my comments, is people feel the need, people who are trying to lose weight or are about to start a weight loss journey, they feel the need to go from one extreme to the other. If they are at 0%, so they're not tracking their food, they're not going to work out at all, they're not taking care of their bodies or their minds, they're at 0%, they haven't started a journey, they seem to feel like they need to go all the way over to the other end of extremes. They need to try and lift 5 or 6 times a week. They need to crash diet. They need to be on this extreme regimen of all sorts, going literally from 0 to 100, from black to white, from white to black, as opposed to let's find a nice little spot to meet in the middle. So instead of getting your opinion on that, because I know you and I know you agree with me, instead, I think what would be more helpful and more interesting, what is a mistake that you have made where you tried to go from 0 to 100 to overcompensate for a weakness that you felt you had, that you then had to retrain balance for yourself?
Oh boy, have I done that plenty of times. I think the obvious one is one of the ways that I lost weight many times. I regained weight many times because of this, but lost weight for a little while. Was starving myself, was getting rid of all of my food. And I did that as a result of what I refer to now as responding to trauma with trauma. it feels like it's going to be effective because it feels equal to the pain that we have in the moment. So it's to go about it in a measured way, it does not feel equal to the pain that you're experiencing right there. So to just go into a measured calorie deficit, especially to the degree that you and I know now, which is, you'd think, well, how am I supposed to lose weight on 2,500 calories? You're going to lose it. It's just going to take some time, but having that time is going to be what allows you to do it permanently. But it doesn't feel equal to the stress. It doesn't feel equal to the trauma. So I felt inclined, and many people listening do, feel inclined to respond to trauma with trauma. To fight fire with fire. This is not a fire that we're trying to put out here. The best way we can go about this is in a measured way. It doesn't feel like it's going to be effective, but
that's a really good point. It's responding to an extreme emotion with extreme action, because people think that's what needs to happen. And you can't really blame anybody for feeling that way. Like, you and I have done it, and we had to effectively overcompensate and go through a period of severe imbalance because we felt that deep self-hatred. We felt that deep self-deprecation and everything. And what I find super interesting for me is it's happened to me in other aspects of my life as well. It's, you know, as much as we prescribe and talk about this idea of balance and being kind to yourself, we're also both very hardworking people, you and I. And you don't give yourself enough credit for that, by the way. But that's a different conversation for a different day. And where I've seen it really come up the most and rear its ugly head up the most is financially. Actually, I grew up with not that much money. My family had, I had a good childhood and everything, but we didn't have, I had nothing that much like given to me, right? Which, you know, a lot of people didn't. But because I saw so much stress that my parents went through growing up, as soon as I became 18 and had some other traumas in my life, I felt the need to drastically overcompensate and aggressively work my teeth off and invest every penny I made for years. And while I'm pretty happy with that decision now, I've now been having to almost retrain myself to be like, all right, the world's not going to explode if I spend $60 on Battlefield 6, right? Like, I'm trying to literally come up with, and it sounds like a stupid thing. And, you know, now that I have a little bit of security, I still have a hard time even spending anything that's not an absolute bill or necessity. When in reality, it's like, I'm 24, I need to be upgrading my life here, and like these are things that are good for me. This is not all, like, I'm not spending it irresponsibly, but I have to like retrain my mind to say, it's all right to spend a little bit of money on yourself sometimes. And I really found out when other people told me, when my friends and my family were both telling me that I was being too frugal, I was like, okay, maybe I need to work on some stuff. And I feel like that's a huge part of self-awareness that a lot of people lack, is the ability to ask for constructive criticism from others. Like, if you don't know your own strengths and weaknesses, if you can't sit down and write down, okay, I'm good at this and I'm not so good at this, and actually know it for a fact and be able to recognize those patterns, asking other people is a game changer.
Isn't it interesting how we will be hesitant to try something new because we fear that we will go too far in the other direction?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll treat our weight loss by going too far in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this goes out to my people pleasers here, and this specifically is going to go out to my clients who are probably listening to this right now, but I'll give this to everybody. When I say, what is rule number 1, all of my clients know what that means. And now you will know what this means here shortly. Rule number 1 is in reference to a document that I've built that comprises of rules that I like to live my life by. So when I think of something that I just want to have a good reminder of, I put it into this big document, which is not numbered. It's not in order of importance, aside from rule number 1. And rule number 1 is the following. You don't get to finish this journey without pissing someone off. The reason that I have that rule there is because, and many people out there who are nervous to piss someone off because you're a people pleaser, you'll think to yourself, well, if I start to piss people off or I start to assert myself in favor of my needs, what if I become a dick? What if I start becoming an asshole? What if I just become insufferable? It's not going to happen. You're not going to become an asshole. The fact that you're asking that question is indicative of the fact that you're going to be able to catch yourself.
That part.
Yeah. So you can do it a little bit. You're not an asshole to also include yourself in a conversation, to say that, hey, I don't like this. I don't like something. I don't like the way that I'm being treated. You're not an asshole to cut somebody off if they've done too many things to you. You know, you're an asshole if you're being inconsiderate towards other people, but you are too considerate to the point where you're being an asshole to yourself.
It's funny you bring this up because the folks that you work with, it feels like we work with a pretty similar crowd, and it feels like this is just kind of the majority of the average person who's maybe struggling with weight and food, or it might just be the average American at this point. Like that describes about 95% of the people that I work with. You know, I work with guys who are working their tails off, working their teeth off, trying to be a good person, trying to provide for the people in their lives, and you know, trying to solve everyone else's issues. And yet they have a horrible time taking care of themselves, even in the slightest. I'm like, you got to start getting more protective of your own damn time, and you got to start learning how to find a freaking hobby that isn't monetized or isn't productive. Just do it for the sake of doing it, right? Like, I have to literally tell my clients, it's like, hey, go take a hike, like literally, like go unplug, go have a hobby that you're not trying to monetize. Go do something that isn't a workout that's good for you. And it's little things like this that are consequences of burnout, where you almost kind of forget how to do this sometimes. And it's fascinating that you're saying the same thing, because there's so much selflessness that you are pouring from an empty cup. There's so much selflessness that it leads to burnout, because you're spending all of this energy trying to solve other people's issues, and it's leaving you with a lack of identity, a lack of awareness of your own issues, to the point where the people that you're trying to help are the only ones that can tell you what's wrong with you. And you're like, nah. And so it's funny that you mentioned when people are hurting or knowing that they need to change, and they're scared of hurting other people's feelings. The people who are scared of who are the people pleasers, who are scared of ruffling some feathers, or setting boundaries is a big thing that I work on with my clients now, is hurting someone else's feelings, or causing having a difficult conversation. Difficult conversations are good for you. Those are always good for you, because it means you're either setting a boundary or someone else is setting a boundary.
They're good for
right?
other people too.
Exactly. It's going to improve the quality of your life across the board. It's just uncomfortable in the short term.
I've got another rule, and now this one's not numbered because the rest of them beyond that are not. And it's simple. You need to ask for things before you need them.
Give me some examples. I like that.
So, generally speaking, most people pleasers out there are not going to ask for something unless they absolutely need it. It usually becomes dire at that point. They've been mistreated for maybe years. At the point that they're going to be asking for something, they're backed into a corner. Things have gotten so unbelievably bad that it's like the only thing they can really do is leave the situation. Where maybe, a couple of months or a couple of years prior, had certain conversations or questions been had or asked, it wouldn't have ended that way. It wouldn't have had to end at all.
I think that's just another byproduct too, where you can kind of solve the problems before they get there, if you view it like a lifestyle. If you view your weight loss and your stopping people pleasing and your investment into yourself, into your relationship health, your financial health, your knowledge, learning new skills, all these other things, if you treat it like a lifestyle and you systemize it, you can then start noticing patterns of, I want this to change, so I'm going to start doing it now so it doesn't become a problem in the future. One thing as an example is like, you probably resonate with this pretty heavily, both personally and professionally. I have clients who have been tracking calories for very long times. And I'm like, all right, hey, tracking break time, mofo. We're not tracking a damn thing for the next 2 weeks. And they're like, whoa, this feels really weird. I'm like, I know it does. Tell me how weird it feels. Write it down. What are you noticing? And they're like, why are we doing this? I have 40 more pounds to lose. I'm like, yeah, you're down 50 pounds. You have 40 more pounds to lose. You're doing a great job. You're doing a phenomenal job. And that's why we're doing this, because we're solving a problem now and being aware of problems now so you don't lose all the weight, think you're good, leave the program, and then think, oh, wait, I have an eating disorder now because I can't stop tracking calories. I can't go to Olive Garden without bringing the fucking food scale. And so it's kind of this idea of when you have other people on your team, when you have other people in your life, whether that be a mentor or a coach or a friend, or just being a part of a larger community of any form of self-improvement, or just people who care about you. A lot of people think it has to be like this self-improvement pilled like Discord server, which shout out Mike Pridgeon's Discord server, but like it can be anything. But sometimes you can get that just from having a couple of good friends, having a good conversation with some people that actually give a shit about you, because they're gonna if they really care about you, they're gonna tell you if they see patterns. They're gonna tell you if they think if you're headed for something in the wrong direction. And that's something that I've noticed in myself is like, as I've been working with more and more clients over these past 4 years, I'm very blunt in my communication now. Like if somebody's making a mistake, like I'll it's like the compliment sandwich situation. It's like, I love you. I'm seeing this. I love you. And it's never like an insult. It's never trying to overstep or try to solve other people's issues for them. But if I really care about them and I think they're making a mistake, I have to be the one, and no one else is going to say it to them. Then I want to say it to them, at least sharing my opinion on it, which sometimes it's not received very well. But if you have to know your relationship with that person and be willing to take the criticism as well. You can't just be telling other people how to live their lives, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, but not expect to hear it back from you. Like, we're all projects, all of us. Like, none of us have a box checked and we're just walking around like, a green checkbox emoji with all the answers. Mike doesn't have all the answers. Noah doesn't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers.
Mike needs a plan. I
Bam.
put it in my name because it's a call out to the universe to be like, hey, I've lost 110 pounds. I help other people to do the same thing. I still need to learn stuff. I'm still learning stuff all the time. One of the things that I do with my clients is I will, instead of just offering solutions, I will ask them questions in a methodical way to try to get them to answer the question themselves. Like, I know what I want them to hear. I know what I want them to say. I'm going to see if I can plant that in their mind without telling them. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot more powerful that way. Because first off, they're not going to have that initial, like, no, I don't want to do that. Because generally when we don't want to face something and somebody gives us a solution, even if it's a good one, we don't want to do it. So if I can make somebody come up with it on their own, they're more likely to listen. Ask somebody, if you're having trouble telling somebody something, just ask them questions until they figure it out.
That's a good one. Yeah. It's a lot of the time. This is also something that I've gotten a nice reminder of, and I think it's something a lot of guys struggle with. A lot of guys, just kind of as byproduct, are very solution oriented. I am very guilty of this, being highly solution oriented, and what that typically means is if I'm presented with an issue or somebody presents me with an issue, it's my first initial knee-jerk reaction to immediately want to solve the problem. When in reality, especially in deep interpersonal conflict, I instead should pause and be like, okay, I need to listen more first before I just jump to a solution. Because a lot of the time, especially women make it more clear when you're working with them, and it's easier to listen to them because they're used to being listened to. Men aren't. So when you continuously ask them questions and make space for them to kind of figure those things out, it's usually not as difficult for us, because when you have somebody who's not used to being listened to, it's almost easier for them to make those connections because it's a novel experience. They're going to remember it and apply it immediately. And so when you can slow down and make space for the men in your life who are struggling with something, and just listen instead of just giving them a solution. I've seen a lot of really tremendous conversations, and to be honest with you, I this is a good statistic. It sounds like a terrible statistic, but the amount of tears that have come out on coaching calls in the last 3 months have increased pretty significantly recently, because we're digging into some really deep topics with some of these clients, and it's working, and people are seeing like they're doing the ugly work that a lot of guys don't want to do, you know? People call it shadow work or whatever else, but having somebody there to help you see your blind spots is one of the greatest perspective shifts ever.
You need it. Everybody knows something about you that you don't, which sounds scary on the outside, but they can tell you what that thing is, and then you could know it, and then you can work on it. It's not something to be embarrassed about. It could be a thing that is good that everybody knows about you that you don't. It could be something that just needs to be adjusted that everybody knows about you that you don't. It doesn't have to be something scary, especially when somebody can shine a light on it for you.
Amen. Really, really crazy random tangent here. How was it meeting Bryson?
Bryson's great. Good guy. I don't know if he's who you were talking about before, just like being young and above his years or whatever. But that's another one who's, I'm like, holy shit. He's like 22 or something. I would have been fucking rich by now if I was that smart. At this point, 22, coming up on 32 now. So, shout out to Bryson. Officially
right.
Unk status.
Dude, I'm Unk status. I'm 24.
If you're Unk status, then I'm grand Unk status.
You're Grunkle.
Yeah, I'm Grunkle.
Grunkle Mike.
I find out every day I'm chopped and also Unk.
I just referenced that meme to my sister yesterday. That is so funny that you say that. No, man. The other topic that we were going to bring up today for all of you lovely listeners and viewers. Also, if you're listening to this on Spotify, which we are on Spotify now, thank God.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mike is really showing me up right now because he's on his walking pad, and Noah's not. Noah's just being not getting any steps right now.
Oh, can they see us?
Oh, they'll see us on YouTube.
Oh, I should have worn pants. That's a little teaser. Go over to YouTube.
Yeah. But what we were going to talk about today, as after we kind of caught up a little bit there and just riffed a little bit, the greed in the fitness industry seems to be at an all-time high. And I think GLP-1s and AI are not helping. So I'd love to get your take on that. We can kind of just shit on that for a few minutes.
Let's preface this conversation with my complete thoughts on GLP, because I always have to start every conversation with this, because social media has divided us on everything, because division opens wallets.
And we lack nuance on short form.
No, we can't. We don't have time. I've got on average anywhere from 18 to 22 seconds of somebody's time if I'm lucky. So, and half of that is me showing them the thing I'm reacting to or whatever. So I've maybe got like 3 or 4 seconds to deliver one little piece of information that might stick with them. When it comes to the topic of GLP-1s, it can be a lifesaver for the right person. Just as chemotherapy can be a lifesaver for the right person. Do we need to be giving it to everybody? Absolutely not. It is way too powerful of a drug and way too unnecessary of a drug, especially as a first measure, to be giving to every single person. I don't believe that influencers should have discount codes for it. That's ridiculous. We would be up in arms if somebody said use code KIND to get 15% off at checkout for your next Xanax order. We'd be freaking out.
Use code.
Yeah, like it shouldn't.
10% off chemotherapy, bro.
Yeah,
oh
10% off the chemotherapy. Like, use my code.
We're getting more and more cyberpunk. That could happen in the next 5 years. Who fucking knows, man?
Talk to your doctor, not your influencer, because your doctor may assess your situation and say, you know what, you are a good candidate for a GLP-1 drug. Don't talk to. I don't know shit about shit. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. I don't care if it's a doctor who has an Instagram account. They don't know you. You need to speak with somebody one-on-one. who can look at you, run a blood test, do that hammer on the knee. I don't know. I think that's just showmanship. I don't know what that is, but a doctor does, so you should talk to them. That all being said, yeah, influencers got to stop selling that shit. I'm done. Any medication they shouldn't be selling.
I completely agree. It is irresponsible, and there's no regulation on it, and it's just kind of become normalized because all of us are on social media and all of us are consuming these big creators, and these big creators are just making a dime off of it. And you know, it is what it is. The people that are providing the real value are the ones that are building the real businesses that are, you know, actively trying to change lives. Like there are some really awesome, massive creators that are changing lives and making efforts to change lives. Scotty K Fitness, 𝕊𝕂𝕊𝕂. I mean, I could name hundreds. You know, Higher Up Wellness, Michael Smoke, like so many guys that are doing fantastic stuff, and you got the honor to meet them and be friends with them.
You know, they're good
yeah.
friends of mine, and if anybody's ever like, well, are they different? No, they're actually, if anything, they are quieter and more reserved, and a little bit more nervous in person, as we all are. We've got the camera, we've got that like ability to put on the character, and then once the camera's off, it's like we're not always like in show mode.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, I wanted to get your take on this because I've been getting a lot of people that are interested in getting help for weight loss and for what I do with my program. And obviously you've got your group coaching program, and it's been interesting to talk to more people about it, both on the phone and in the DMs, because like you and I are the type of person we're not, I always like to say this, we're not dentists. We're not here to pull anything out of people. Like if you want to join, you'll join, we know what we're good at. And exactly. And the big thing that I've noticed, since we are so focused on impact and we're so focused on like the actual touch points of literally changing lives, or attempting to, people are more skeptical now, which is good. I think, of when they're swiping their card, because I feel like there's so many other influencers out there burning and scamming, right? The fitness industry has already had a pretty horrible reputation for being very vanity focused, being very greed driven. But I was talking to Mike on this before we really logged or hit the record button. The internet sphere of fitness has grown tremendously, and obviously there was a huge boom during COVID, and I kind of spawned from that, and a lot of other people kind of came onto the scene, and ever since 2020 it's kind of shifted this focus, because a lot of these people that were stuck inside were seeing these early adopters of online fitness training, or deadlift coaching, or strength coaching, or bodybuilding coaching, just kind of fitness coaching in general, and pivoting away from that in-person model, because and what's really hurt the industry, I think, at large now that we're in 2025, almost 2026, is you now have a whole new breed of people who probably grew up pretty thin, who went to the gym for a couple years and got a good-looking physique, had a couple people ask about what they did for their program, and then started becoming fitness coaches, threw fitness coach in their bio, didn't really care about the research. Now they can use AI to answer everything. And again, I'm making larger generalizations, but I do know for a fact that there are a much larger amount of fitness coaches out there on the internet that do not have the education. The standard of education has been brought down pretty tremendously over the past couple of years, because the reasoning, the drive behind starting a fitness coaching company and becoming a coach to change lives is no longer for the average person to change lives. For most people, or for a lot of the newer faces, it's greed driven. They're seeing the big influencers and the big coaches drive Lamborghinis and be massively overpaid and have all these big ass brand deals and everything. And it's really frustrating as somebody who has been around and seen the rise and the fall of a lot of people on the internet. And there are some people that are just gold standards. You've got the Will Tennysons of the world. You've got the Jeff Nippards of the world that deserve their success and are very knowledgeable, and they make the right moves. But it's just really frustrating to see. Like, I had a woman join my program last year. She said she paid $1,100 to talk to somebody on the phone 3 times.
I saw you post that video the other day. That pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
At least
So
she even got to talk to somebody. Some people don't get that.
yeah, the shipping off to other coaches seems to be the big thing now. Is, you know, oh hey, by the way, I'm gonna, you know, you're gonna join my program and talk to me, and then by the way, no, you're not. You know, and don't even get me started on the coaching sphere. Oh my Lord, I could talk about that all day, and I know you could too.
It sucks watching somebody who used to be good slip down that rabbit hole and then start talking about it every day. You know, it's just a shame. But I do want to mention real quick that in terms of the bar of education being lower, you don't have to have training or education to be a personal trainer in a lot of states in the U.S. In Texas, the only thing here that's I don't think you need a certification for anything. Nothing. I could be personal training right now. I have chosen not to because I don't have my certification yet. I'm working on it now. I
Oh, cool.
want to have that certification under my belt before I provide that. Could I probably do a good job of it now? Yeah. I've done really well for myself. I've helped a couple of other people just in terms of advice in that sort of case, but it's never been a thing where I've like taken on a stranger and said, here's going to be your workout routine, here are your macros
Right.
and everything.
Right.
I help people with macros and calories because I deeply understand that. But yeah, I don't want to hurt somebody with training.
Yeah.
And people hurt people by giving them the wrong program. Those people that you mentioned before where they've just always been in shape, they don't understand the struggle of somebody who's been 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and can't do a deadlift without raising their blood pressure. You know, they can't do work over their heads because
Right.
their circulation isn't there. They can't do a lat pull down. So it's to find the right person or somebody that has that kind of training and education is vitally important. You've got to see if that person can work with your specific body or needs if you have a specific body or specific needs.
No, mine's pretty general. I don't have a specific body. Yeah.
Right. And,
It's just all bought from the store.
the same with guys like Paul Saladino's not a chiropractor, but there are a lot of chiropractors out there who use that chiropractic license to claim that they're a doctor. It would be like, you know, you can have a doctorate in literature.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's not a doctor that you want to be doing your surgeries on you. Like
It
if
also
you're on a
gets-
plane and you have a heart attack and anybody's like, hey, do we have a doctor on board? You don't want the doctor of literature standing up. So I can maybe kiss him. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I could tell him a nice story. Yeah. No, dude,
I can put my lips on there.
with the chiropractors too. It's like not all of them, obviously, but I see a lot in that industry specifically. I mean, the fitness industry is covered in it. Sex appeal. Like, oh, let me take this woman that is in 3 sizes too small of yoga pants and a crop top and start bending her in different positions. Probably not even, like, I don't even know if they're legitimate chiropractic positions at this point, but there's been a bunch of bits done it on a bunch of comedy shows and stuff. But like fitness industry, same way, you know, sex sells, unfortunately. And people get blinded a lot by when they choose to, oh, I need help, I'm going to trust this person. The first instinct is like, do they look good? You know, do they look good? And again, you do have to look good enough and have enough achievements and credibility to be a valid pillar in the fitness industry. But what's really interesting to me is the lack of, like, that's the only thing that people really use as far as a buying decision sometimes. And I would like to see, I'm hoping that we're seeing a change where don't just pick the first person you see to help you. Find someone that understands your struggles, that has worked with people that are like you to solve the same thing, right? Like if I ever have somebody who is deeply, deeply, deeply struggling with their relationship with food past the point where I can't help them, which usually I can, but there are certain points where I will say there are some relationship with food people that I can't help. I will either point them to Mike or I will point them to a literal like therapist counselor, right? Because there are certain things, like Mike is really, really good at helping people shift their perspective on their relationship with food. So it's more about building trust with people now. I care so much less about views. I care so much more about just like building that community and that culture, because it makes me feel good too, because now I got people to talk to. You know, now I got people to chat shit with and, you know, have people tell me to slide up on my stories and tell me to get hard like you know? So it's good. It's a good time.
It's so important that you find somebody that gets you. You know, I do my intake calls, my discovery calls, because I want to make sure that I like the person.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
That I do it. Like, and that sounds crazy because, like, but I spend a lot of time with Michael. We're on the phone for an hour and a half a week. We're texting throughout the week as needed.
Yep.
We may get on a phone call in between. If I don't like you as a human being, or you don't like me as a human being, it's not going to go. So we've got to figure out, do I have the solutions for you? Do I understand what you're going through? Are you too new? I don't take day ones. For my one-on-one,
yeah.
I don't take somebody that's like, I've just decided to start my weight loss. No, you have to struggle for like 5 years before we talk. There's a lot of shit that you have to learn before you're ready to go with me. Like,
yeah.
Because we're going to be, just like you said before, the tears are important. We've got to get to a point where you're frustrated with this. Now, I've got my group coaching for the day ones. I welcome them, of course, there. And there's some deeper stuff there.
Yeah.
We get into the weeds, but it's a little more general.
I have no idea what the hell we're going to name this episode. We've kind of been all over the place. Like, I literally don't know what the title's going to be.
I have no idea either.
I'll figure it out later, I guess.
Why can't it just
maybe I just say Mike's back.
Yeah. Why does
Mike's back.
everything have to have a neat little bow on it?
Yeah, man. We don't got to label anything. Like when Mike and I kiss each other on the lips, there's no label to it, man. There's no label to it.
My first ever video, the reason that you know me right now is because I decided to film a video, and I spent weeks deliberating on, like, what should I talk about? Because I knew I wanted to talk about my weight loss and my health, but from the mindset perspective that I do. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't decide on something important enough. I thought to myself, well, this topic is not important enough to be my first video. And then I would think of something more important, and I would think to myself, well, if this is too important, will the second one sort of pale in comparison? By the way, I deluded myself into thinking anybody would see my first video. To this day, the only people who have are people that I've sent it to as an example of this story. But I ended up just getting frustrated one day, and I started filming, no cuts, millennial pause in the beginning. Didn't know how to edit that out yet. And I just said, I got to thinking, why is it that everything I do has to be the greatest thing I've ever done? Why can't it just be something? Why does every meal I have need to be the greatest meal I've ever had? Why does every exercise I do need to be the hardest and most effective exercise I've ever done? Why can't I just come out and do something? And because I did that, I'm here 2.5 years later doing this thing. Which is crazy that I'm still here.
That boardwalk video.
And then that, of course, that was about a month and a half later. I was posting every day. I didn't have people watching me, and then suddenly 10 million people. That video, I've posted that elsewhere. I think it's in total gotten like 60 or 70 million views.
That's crazy, man. Sometimes it's just got the right little combination. It's so strange. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a great video. Like, it's well-deserved. But it's just like talking about it, just posting in general. It's like sometimes you'll like, man, I put so much effort into this, and just absolute poops. And then you just make an absolute crap video, and it's just like, oh, 2 mil. It's like, all right.
For those, I'm glad that way. Like, it is still a...
That is a good one, though.
Yeah, it's...
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not that one. Absolutely not. That's a good video.
It was very, like, I'm shaking as I'm recording it. The impetus of this video is I took my shirt off at the beach for the first time in nearly a decade at that point. This was July of 23. And I was scared to do it. But I filmed myself doing it. I decided to document that journey there. And it resonated with a lot of people.
It's a great video.
And
great video.
I had to go up onto the boardwalk where there were other people that would see me shirtless. I had no more weight to lose at that point. At that point, I was actually smaller than I am now.
Yeah.
Like, I had gained weight.
How much heavier are you now compared to like your all-time lowest?
So
like, where do you live? Like, as far as your weight?
You and I are about the same height. I was 155 pounds at my lowest.
Yeah. Jesus.
I can send you the picture later. It's not pretty. But
And you're what? How tall are you? 6'2"?
6'3".
6'3". Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was bad. You can see my ribs. I've got this
Oh,
giant
my.
skull. So I just looked like this bobblehead on top of a stick body, kind of like
Right,
that.
yeah.
You know, so it didn't look very good, and I still thought I was fat at that point.
Yeah.
I'm still like, well, the weight will come off when it comes off. I thought I had the healthiest mindset on earth. Meanwhile, I was walking like 10 miles a day, which at that point was not good for the amount of food I was eating because I was barely eating anything. Now I can do that no problem. It doesn't bother me. But
So where are you at now, like, maintaining?
Maintaining, I'm getting up to 180.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm still on the lower side because I've just like not been actively trying to gain weight very fast. I've still got a little bit of a like, ooh, let's not gain more fat than we need to sort of mindset, but it's not nearly as scary as it used to be. The fact that I want to be heavier is really positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to keep gaining more weight. I want to be heavier. I want to be stronger. I want to have more muscle.
I've been maintaining at like the 225 mark for quite a while. I'm 6'4",
Yep.
and I wanted to get down to like 205, but then I got really into running, and I'm like, I kind of transitioned my mindset, which I'm really happy about with my relationship with food, because obviously we spend so much time talking about it, and like it's so prevalent in our lives, and what we have to talk about every single freaking day, all the time. But for me, I've been able to kind of position my eating in more of like an athlete's mindset, where it's like I am going to use this as fuel more than anything else. So like I'm training for a marathon now. I've ran multiple half marathons this year. Like that's still crazy for me to be even saying, but I'm doing that and lifting at the same time, and I want to make sure my sleep stays good. So I've been eating basically at maintenance for these last couple weeks, maintaining 225. And enjoying it. Like, I still don't mind the way that I look. I could probably be a smidge leaner if I wanted to. I probably should be a little bit leaner, but, like, I value my intuitive eating, and I know I could cut it down if I cared about it as much. But right now, my ability to balance, I'm in a nice sweet spot right now where my pumps at the gym are still good, but I'm still increasing my running mileage every week, and that is massive to me. Like, if I can do both, that's huge, because there was a while there in the summertime, dude, running that much, my pumps, it was like being at 199 again. My all-time low was 199. I felt like a bag of sticks, and I had no pump. It was just, you came in, and it's just like, okay, no matter how much caffeine, I could have enough caffeine to kill a horse. It wouldn't have mattered after the first exercise, dude, first movement. I'm moving on to my 3 other movements. It was like, this sucks. There's no point. And yeah, so I'm nice to find that middle ground.
Generally speaking, it is not recommended, nor really even very easy, for people to be doing both of what Noah's doing right now. Like, you need to be dialed in on both in a way that is probably more intense than doing one individually. To be able to do both, like so the fact that you're doing well at the gym and you're increasing your running duration it's just a testament to what you're able to do with your body. So congratulations to you.
Talk about what you're able to do with your body. This picture you just sent me.
I did just send you my before, middle, and after there. Just
oh
in case you
man,
wanna, like,
dude,
share
you look
that.
fucking huge, man.
But that middle picture right there is when I was 150.
I remember. Yeah, I remember you've shown that one to me before.
Mm-hmm. It's the only
dude, you
really
put on some serious fucking mass, dude. I know you guys. I don't think I'm gonna throw it up on the pod or anything, but I'm sure it's all over Mike's page. But man, it is insane. I think let's wrap up here, and I wanted to kind of talk about the difference between. I say this to my clients who are kind of a little so-so about maybe starting the gym. Like, they really just care about the weight loss more than anything else. I'll tell my guys, it's like, even if you're not in love with the gym, you don't got to be in love with the gym. But the amount of confidence that you're going to gain from having more muscle on your body is, in my opinion, in my experience, I felt exponentially more confident after I built some muscle and hit some big PRs in the gym and saw the muscle than losing the weight. It's like removing the weight loss to me was almost like removing the guilt and the shame, and then building the muscle was like building the confidence back up almost. And obviously you're going to feel way more confident after having a proof that you can lose 100 pounds. Like, that goes without saying, but there's just something different about building muscle and the confidence that it brings you.
When you are losing weight, I want everybody to keep this in mind. The picture that you have of yourself at the end of the journey, the idea in your mind of what you're going to look like, weighs more than you think it does. Your healthiest body weighs more than you think it, whatever your goal weight is right now, unless you were like a bodybuilder at some point and you just kind of fell off the wagon. The body that you imagine as being your healthiest body, of looking good, of feeling good, weighs more than you think it does. My healthiest body was not going to be 155. My healthiest body was not going to be 165. That was my goal weight for a long time, was 165, based on nothing, really.
Based off nothing.
Yeah,
I love that.
I blew past it, and I still wasn't happy, because my idea was, well, lower is better, smaller is better. It wasn't. I lost all the weight that I could safely lose. Those of you watching the YouTube video will see Noah's reaction when I told him I was 155 and told him how tall I was.
I didn't realize it was that much. That's crazy.
Our red flags go up when we hear somebody say that. We go, how are you alive right now? Like, you must have been suffering, and I was. But yeah, 155 was not, skinny was not where I was trying to get to. Strong was where I was trying to get to.
Exactly. It's like, what do you want to look like and how do you want to feel long term? Like, that's one part of the journey. That's one direction. And we talked a lot about, you went from one extreme, we both did, and then now we've kind of hit that balance for ourselves, and now that's why we're qualified to talk to other people, and why we're pretty gosh darn decent at our jobs, I'd like to think. So, dude, it was great catching up with you. You're welcome here anytime, and always love you. I know you're a fan favorite here on the YouTubes. So we'll push it out and send it out to plenty of peeps. It'll probably go live in a couple days after we record this. But drop some wisdom, plug yourself, but drop a final little nugget of wisdom for everybody before you go, buddy.
I'll tell a quick story, and I'll do a little presentation over here. So this is my pull-up bar. Right. I got a pull-up bar sometime early this year. I could not do a pull-up for the longest time because first off, I've got a heart condition, I've got a circulatory thing, I've got trouble doing work over my head. So anytime I tried to do a lat pull down, I would get lightheaded, my heart would start beating too fast, and I'd have to stop. So I had to work on that for a long time. And the goal was, okay, I'll just do the lat pull downs basically until I get to the point that I can do my own body weight. And then I figure at that point I'll be strong enough to lift myself. It was last year, I was at the Rise, Rise Protein. I was at they've got a gym at their headquarters. I was there with Scotty and former Fat Guy Fitness. And we were doing a workout. It's just the three of us in there. And they start doing pull-ups, and I sit down to do the lat pull-downs. Because at that point, I'm still like, well, I'm not ready for my pull-up yet. And Scotty's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm just doing my lat pull-downs. It works the same muscles. He said, I know it works the same muscles. We're doing pull-ups. What, you can't do a pull-up? And I said, well, no, not yet. I'm still working on it. And he said, you're working on it? What do you mean you're working on it? And I show him what I'm doing with the lat pull-downs, and he stops and he goes, have you tried to do a pull-up yet? And I said, no, I haven't tried to do a pull-up yet. And he said, try to do a pull-up. And I go up to the bar, move these out of the way. And I put myself into the position where I was doing my lat pull down, and suddenly, oh, holy shit, I did a pull-up. Incredible. And I do another one. And another one. And now, at this point in my life, I can do that.
That just looks like it hurts.
Yeah, I did not know that I could do a pull-up.
You did 3?
Well, I did 7 of them.
Are you serious?
So I was doing I was doing sets of 11 or 12. I was working my way up to 12, doing whatever. But I got up to 7 with my body weight.
Jeez.
10 minutes prior to that, I still had the belief in my head that I couldn't do it because I had never tried it. I'm not telling you to go and throw yourself way out of your comfort zone to try something. What I am saying is if there's something that you've been working on for a while and you're nervous to try it, and you've got some practice under your belt, or you've got a reasonable understanding that you're going to get there at some point, try the thing. There's never going to be a point where you will be ready.
Mm-hmm.
There's just going to be a point where you choose to try anyway.
Scoop a little bit more discomfort into your life, you might be surprised.
Yeah. And that was
just a little bit.
Because of that, I got my pull-up bar, and now I can do a bunch of them. I can do that flip that I just showed you there. You can see that on YouTube, another incentive there. If you want to find me to see more of me, you can go to Mike Needs a Plan on Instagram, Mike Needs a Plan on TikTok. Where else am I? I'm on Twitch.
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Really, anywhere you find a Mike Needs a Plan, it's probably going to be me. YouTube as well, Facebook, MySpace, I don't know. Just type in Mike.
Go check out the Mike Needs a Plan MySpace page.
Well, thanks for having me, hanging out.
Yeah, man, it's always good to talk to you, and we'll probably have you on more in the future. It's always good every couple weeks or months or whatever to catch up.
Real quick, the In Moderation podcast, which I want to get you on at some point.
I'd love it.
I am a frequent collaborator and occasional host of the In Moderation podcast with 𝕊𝕌𝔹𝕊𝕋𝕸, the Plant Slant, and Ron.
Would love to talk to both of those guys.
February, we are doing a charity fundraiser. This is way far off, but just in case anybody hears this between now and then, we are doing a charity fundraiser for the American Heart Association. We just did one earlier this year. It was Scotty's Fit for Live event. We raised $150,000 in a 5-day nonstop live stream. That is, we all holed up at his house, and we raised a fuck-ass amount of money. It was crazy. And through that process, I think we all realized if we actually planned this, we might be able to raise quite a bit more. So the goal for next February is $1 million.
Ooh. I love it.
The details of what we're doing just yet. I'll tell you off camera, but we have a major event planned. There's a lot of major players that are going to be involved in this thing. I'm really excited. It's going to be a 2-week-long event. So, keep an eye out for that. You can go to my page to check out any updates. You can obviously go to Scotty's page. He'll be talking about it. Scotty K Fitness on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah,
dude,
that's it. Those are my plugs.
That is fantastic. No limiting beliefs. Go make the world a better place. When you learn how to make yourself better, you will help more people. Mike is a phenomenal example of that, and I try to be an example of that any chance I can. Go be a good person. Be a good person to yourself. And it's almost like there's one phrase we could end on. Mike, could you help me out?
Be kind to yourself.
Keep it simple, big fella. See y'all later. Bye. All right.